I'm here at Future Utilities with Layerle from Baalbek. Sean, thanks for joining me again.
My pleasure.
So earlier this week, I was really interested to read your LinkedIn profile when you talked about a really familiar pattern happening at energy events at the moment around flexibility.
Yeah.
Everybody's super excited. They're talking about the technology, but they're actually struggling with how do we actually deliver on it. Why is the execution so hard?
Yeah, I think the elephant in the room in the energy sector continues to be customer adoption.
Yep.
Just as much B2B as B2C.
Yep.
Even though the technology to enable and deliver flexibility is now starting to stabilize, energy companies, tech companies are getting more familiar with it.
Yep.
We are starting to hit those first plateaus where the flexibility propositions are too complex, too nebulous, too hard for companies to understand to really participate, and even more so with residential customers.
Yeah.
So being able to wrap their heads around flexibility, what it is, what it's for, is it really valuable for me or just valuable for the grid?
Yeah.
Those types of customer engagement challenges still need to be cracked. And that's really slowing down the advancement of flexibility.
Yep. So obviously you're working with a lot of both startups and large, big companies that are sort of pursuing those flexibility struggles. You're saying it's not obvious who's going to win out of that battle. What does each get right that the other doesn't, and where is the real advantage sitting in the room?
So I would actually say that both struggle with the same things.
Yeah. Okay.
So both large sort of historical energy companies and brand new startups that are trying to play in flexibility are both taking a very equipment-centric, data-centric, engineering-centric view, and are forgetting that at some point, some decision maker, whether it's inside a company or inside a household, is going to have to click on the button, is going to have to say yes, is going to have to participate. So both those types of clients of Baalbek, we're actually supporting them in very similar ways.
Yeah.
So the context is different, the culture is different, the organizations are different, but really the work that we're doing with them is helping them solve challenges that are much closer to the customer than to the actual tech.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So another thing you talked about was how one of the three things that companies are genuinely struggling to understand is the value of flexibility. How do we make it real? What's making that so hard to pin down, and what should companies be doing differently?
So this is a bit silly and it might be an unsatisfying answer, but what's really missing right now is hindsight. If we really think about it, flexibility really hit an inflection point around 2023. There had been demand response for decades before that, but it was a very, very small subset of what was happening in the energy universe. So we really only have in Europe 4, maybe 5 years of all this bubbling of flexibility from grid scale all the way down to residential. So what's missing now is a lot of companies haven't tried. If they were on grid scale, they haven't tried residential. If they were on residential, they haven't tried grid scale. And so a lot of companies are trying to figure out and trying to manage risk and say, okay, am I going to go all into exploring this flexibility market? Am I going to fall over on this? Is this going to work out well? And they don't have a lot of other companies to benchmark against who have been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, where there's a well-established business case. So I think the ones that are succeeding right now are the ones that are taking a good old test and learn approach, that are taking risks, making hypotheses, making assumptions, trying things, and learning as they go.
And that's the thing, is balance, getting people to understand that they have to do the risky bit in order to get the outcome at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.